Tonight we witness a dramatic shift in the global balance of power, one that isn't unfolding on the ground or in the halls of government, but high above us, in the skies. The world's airways, once dominated by familiar giants, are now the stage for a new and unprecedented contest. At 30,000 feet, the future of aviation, and perhaps the future of global influence, is being rewritten in real time. For decades, two titans, Boeing and Airbus, have ruled the skies, locked in a relentless rivalry that shaped the very fabric of international travel and commerce. Their competition has driven innovation, safety, and efficiency, making air travel accessible to billions. But now, a seismic change is underway. China, the world's fastest growing and most coveted aviation market, has made a bold and unmistakable move. It's turning its back on Boeing, a company once seen as a symbol of American industrial might. This isn't just a business deal gone wrong. It's a geopolitical earthquake that could reshape alliances, economies, and the very nature of global air travel for decades to come. China is now forging a powerful new alliance with Airbus, Europe's aviation powerhouse, while simultaneously betting big on its own homegrown champion, COMAC. The stakes are enormous, and the ambitions are clear. The message from Beijing is unmistakable. China no longer wants to be just a customer dependent on foreign technology. It wants to be a creator, an innovator, and ultimately a global leader in aviation. For Boeing, this is more than a setback. It's a devastating blow. Billions of dollars in sales are at risk, and thousands of skilled jobs hang in the balance. The ripple effects could be felt across the entire American aerospace industry. For Airbus, it's nothing short of a monumental victory. The company stands to gain not just lucrative contracts, but also a strategic foothold in the world's most dynamic market. And for COMAC, this moment marks a long-awaited breakthrough, a chance to prove itself on the world stage and challenge the old order. The old rules of aviation no longer apply. The balance of power is shifting, and a new world order is rapidly taking shape in the skies above us. How did we arrive at this pivotal moment? What does it mean for travelers, for the industry, and for the world at large? Tonight, we break down the forces at play, and what this seismic shift could mean for the future of flight. The race for the skies has entered a bold new era, one defined by new players, new alliances, and new ambitions. The journey is just beginning. To truly understand the significance of today's headlines, we need to journey back in time and trace the roots of a partnership that shaped the skies over China for generations. The story of Boeing and China is not just about airplanes, it's about diplomacy, ambition, and the transformation of a nation. It all began in 1972, a pivotal year when China, emerging from decades of isolation, made a bold move by ordering its first Boeing jets. This historic deal followed President Nixon's groundbreaking visit, which opened the door to a new era of US-China relations and set the stage for decades of cooperation. As China's economy took off in the decades that followed, Boeing's aircraft became the backbone of the nation's rapidly expanding airlines. From the busy runways of Beijing to the bustling terminals of Shanghai, Boeing jets carried millions of passengers, connecting China's cities to the world and fueling its economic miracle. For nearly 50 years, Boeing reigned supreme in China's skies. Its jets were not just machines, they were symbols of progress, linking continents and cultures, and helping China become a global powerhouse in aviation. Boeing didn't just sell planes, it invested deeply in China's future. The company trained generations of Chinese engineers and pilots, built infrastructure, and integrated Chinese suppliers into its global supply chain. This partnership brought jobs, technology, and expertise, weaving Boeing into the very fabric of China's aviation industry. For decades, this relationship seemed unbreakable, a shining example of US-China cooperation, built on mutual benefit and trust. Yet even as Boeing thrived, China was quietly laying the groundwork for its own ambitions. Behind closed doors, engineers and officials were planning for a future where China would no longer rely on foreign giants. In 2008, China took a bold step by founding COMAC, its own commercial aircraft manufacturer. The goal was clear: to build large passenger jets that could one day rival Boeing and Airbus, and to claim a bigger share of the global aviation market. The apprentice was preparing to challenge the master, setting the stage for a dramatic new chapter in aviation history. Now, as the world watches, the balance of power in the skies is shifting. The stage is set for today's dramatic transformation in the global aviation industry. The Boeing-China bond began to crack over the last decade. The 737 MAX crashes shattered confidence, with China first to ground the jet. Trade wars and tariffs turned aircraft orders into political bargaining chips. Quality issues and production delays further damaged Boeing's reputation. Meanwhile, China's ambition grew. COMAC's C919 became a symbol of national pride. The government pressured airlines to buy Chinese, signaling the end of foreign dependence. Safety concerns, politics, and pride created a perfect storm. Decades of trust eroded, paving the way for today's break. The final break came on November 15, 2025. China's Aviation Authority and top airlines canceled all outstanding Boeing orders, over 800 jets. The official reason: fleet optimization, supply chain security, and supporting domestic industry. A government spokesperson was blunt: reliability and national strategy come first. In Boeing's place, China ordered 600 Airbus jets and 500 COMAC C919s. The financial hit to Boeing is over $100 billion. The door to China's market has slammed shut for Boeing. The shockwaves are global. Politically, China's move escalates US-China competition and rewards Europe. Economically, Boeing faces factory slowdowns and job losses across its US supply chain. Airbus now holds a near monopoly in China, gaining pricing power and long-term security. COMAC, with a massive domestic order, becomes a credible third player. The loss of Boeing sales worsens the US trade deficit and weakens American leverage. China's success will inspire other nations to pursue self-reliance, fragmenting the global market. The world just became more competitive and unpredictable. The new reality: Airbus and COMAC dominate China's skies. Airbus secures its global lead with a massive order, ensuring production stability and innovation. COMAC's 500-jet order transforms it from prototype to commercial powerhouse. Airbus will likely rule long-haul routes. COMAC will own domestic and regional flights. This alliance pushes Boeing out, but it's temporary. COMAC is already developing its own wide-body jets. Airbus's cooperation with China may create its own future rival. Today's partners could be tomorrow's competitors. The duopoly is ending. A three-way battle is coming. The market is being redrawn before our eyes. Across the aviation world, experts are sounding the alarm. What we're witnessing is nothing short of a game-changing moment. The industry, long defined by global cooperation and shared standards, is now at a crossroads. The decisions being made today will shape the future of flight for decades to come. Aviation analyst Richard Abulafia points out that Boeing, once the undisputed leader, grew complacent over the years. He argues that the company underestimated both the determination of Chinese regulators and the long-term damage caused by the 737 MAX crisis. According to Abulafia, Boeing's missteps have opened the door for rivals and shifted the balance of power in the industry. In contrast, Airbus has positioned itself as a reliable, apolitical partner for China. By staying out of political disputes and focusing on consistent delivery and support, Airbus has gained favor with Chinese airlines and government officials, further strengthening its foothold in the world's fastest-growing aviation market. Economist Dr. Evelyn Reed describes this as a textbook case of economic statecraft. She explains that China is leveraging its massive market as a tool of geopolitical power, rewarding companies and countries that align with its interests, while punishing those that don't. This strategy, she says, is reshaping the global aviation landscape. The message from Beijing is clear. If your country's policies or actions clash with China's interests, your business could be sidelined or even shut out entirely. This new reality is forcing companies and governments to rethink their strategies and alliances. Industry analyst Scott Hamilton highlights the rapid rise of COMAC, China's homegrown aircraft manufacturer. With hundreds of orders for its C919 jet, COMAC now has the scale and momentum to compete on the world stage, even if its planes don't yet have full Western certification. Hamilton believes this marks the beginning of a new era in aviation competition. The C919, once dismissed by many as an underdog, is now poised to replace hundreds of aging Boeing aircraft in Chinese fleets. Its success could inspire other countries to develop their own aviation industries, further fragmenting the market. A former FAA official warns that diverging safety standards between China and the West could create confusion and risk for airlines, regulators, and passengers alike. As China sets its own rules, the once unified system of global aviation oversight is being challenged. The result? The unified global system that has kept air travel safe and efficient for decades is beginning to fracture, with new barriers and uncertainties emerging. As the industry adapts, complexity and fierce competition are becoming the new normal. Airlines, manufacturers, and regulators must navigate an increasingly unpredictable landscape, one where the old rules no longer apply, and the future of flight is up for grabs. What does this mean for you, the passenger? In China, expect to fly more on COMAC C919s and fewer Boeings. Internationally, Airbus jets will dominate routes to and from China. Less fleet diversity could mean less competition on comfort and price. Globally, Boeing may cut prices to win new markets, possibly lowering fares elsewhere. But Boeing's struggles could slow innovation and keep older planes flying longer. Environmental and passenger experience goals may suffer. In aviation, turbulence for one giant affects everyone. The world has changed. China's break with Boeing marks the end of American dominance and the start of a multipolar age. The skies are now a battleground for great power competition. National ambition and rivalry are redrawing the industry map. China is prioritizing self-sufficiency over old commercial ties. The future, a three-way rivalry between Boeing, Airbus, and COMAC. This could drive innovation, or lead to fragmentation and risk. The planes you fly will reflect shifting alliances and ambitions. The choices made in Beijing, Seattle, and Toulouse will shape global travel. The question, will we have open skies, or competing blocks? The race for the skies has truly begun.